Hello and welcome to the Be Fairy Afraid podcast, the podcast where we take the fluffy fairy tales as you knew and loved them from childhood and throw them away and replace them with the tales as they were originally darkly written. I'm Louise Atkinson.
And I'm Fiona Ridgewell. And this week we're talking about my tarot card reading.
Oh, God.
And the Frog King. So in the words of Jean-Baptiste de Basile,
shut your mouths, open your ears and hear what I shall tell you. Hey.
Friends on a quest, putting these fairy tales to the test, talking all things magical, mystical, but sometimes not very sophistical. Be very afraid, someone actually wrote this story down. That's wild. Be very afraid, why are all the women wearing massive gowns? Why is he kissing her without her consent? What on earth is going on? Will they figure it out what this story's all about? Oh, be very afraid.
hello!
Hello.
How are you?
Last episode of the series.
Well, that's not an answer to my question.
That's how I'm feeling. It's like the end. I like endings.
Oh, you're excited about never seeing me again.
100% as always
Oh.
with all people.
There may be a series 2, who knows? See how this plays out.
Are you excited about the final story? What's been your favourite one that we've done?
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah.
I did like that little tin soldier with the ballet dancer.
Did you? I didn't think you were going to say that one.
Was that Hans Christian?
It was, yeah.
I did like that one. Scaddy's Choice.
So I thought you were going to choose Scaddy's Choice.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What was your least
I
favourite?
think you know.
Yeah.
Cow Cullen or someone.
Cuchulainn.
Coo Cullen.
The legend of
Sorry.
Cuchulainn. How Cuchulainn got his
I
name.
don't know how he became a legend.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to be doing some of his other ones.
Oh, not today?
Not today.
Oh, thank God. You can't
Don't
finish
worry.
it on one of them.
We can do, plug your jugs, we'll be
If
fine.
you finish it on one of them, there won't be a series 2.
No, but we'll be doing another one of his at some point because I am determined to get you on board with him.
Yeah, I don't know. I had to listen to it again the other day. For editing purposes. Oh, have you got a highlight?
I really liked Scaddy's Choice as well, but I also liked the Onibaba, the goblin of Adachikahara.
Oh, the little blood goblin.
The little goblin one, yeah.
Oh, God, that was a bit graphic.
That's
wasn't
why I
it?
liked it.
Quite the journey, though, isn't it, this podcast?
Has been quite a journey.
First or
yes.
second episode, I think I'd had a car crash. Just for you and the listener, that has only just been resolved.
Hey,
you don't-
congratulations.
You don't know, it might be bad.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, good point.
Well, it was their fault.
Say
Congratulations.
congratulations.
Yeah, but however, it might be too long since the event that they still might not fix it.
Boo.
Figure it out. Such is life.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing can bring me down.
What else have you been up to, please?
Oh, God, did my first spin class today for like
Ever?
ever. Have you done one of them?
They're really hard. And it's the overly energetic person who's like, and they're always, because it's usually, mostly women have been the ones that I've been to. There are spin classes where I've had men in as well, but they're always just like, come on, ladies. I'm like, fuck off, dickhead. Like, I've got no patience for it whatsoever.
I thought you meant like the other members of the class were overly enthusiastic. Going to say that was a lady called Val who was 71 next to me. And she couldn't wait to tell me she was 71.
Of course she fucking
And there
couldn't.
was sweat dripping down my face. I felt physically sick. She was like, I do this all the time. I'm 71 next week. I thought, oh, fuck off, Val.
Yeah.
Take your Velcro shoes and bugger off.
Bugger off. Not that healthy if you can't tie your own laces, Val, are you? Not doing that well for yourself?
No, she was very nice, actually. She
Yeah,
set
I'm
up
sure
my
she was.
bike for me. Otherwise, I would have a very sore ninny.
Oh, yes.
Not very nice, is it?
No, it's not pleasant. I'm
Slamming it down on the seat.
no, thank you.
Do you want to keep that in?
Yeah, we're gonna keep that in. We've got you epilating your ass, so we might as well have that as well.
Oh, I'd forgotten that. What else did I do? I was at a wedding.
You were, and you looked lovely.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I was a bridesmaid, but on the day I also found out I was master of the ceremonies or ceremony.
You were emceeing the wedding.
emceed the wedding, which was just a lot of I think we might be going over here. Just follow me.
Oh, so you weren't doing like a 10 at the top going, go do some crowd work. Who are you, father of the bride? Or you weren't doing all of that. You were like, actually, could you go to the left for the hog roast, please? Thank you so much.
Yeah. At one point, the dad of the, father of the bride did his speech, and then the bride was like, I'm going to do a speech. I was like, whoa, maybe she's going to come up here and roast him. Ooh. And he got nothing. I was just like, okay, welcome the bride.
Yeah.
So that was nice though. Free bar.
Someone had money to give a free bar at their wedding.
Free bar for the whole evening, whole day.
How battered were you?
I wasn't actually that bad because I really stocked up on Colin the Caterpillar cake.
Oh, smart. Smart. Did you get the end piece that has feet and the chocolatey arse?
I actually did.
Yes!
And the only reason I did is because everyone was like, you can't take the face.
So the face is too much. And the face is, I think, is for the person who's bought the cake. But I love chocolate, but there's too much chocolate there and everything. Whereas the arse, nice little coating that's just a little bit extra and 2 little feet.
Exactly. You get the 2 white chocolate feet and he has got a bit more butt on him, hasn't he?
Just the perfect amount, I'd say. Are we going to discuss the thing you texted me about last night?
Oh, I went to a psychic.
Yeah.
Well, I say I went. We had a little Zoom call.
Oh, the classic way to have any psychic meeting, like how they did it in the days of yore via Zoom.
Yeah, we had it from Diane in Chatham. I don't know why you find that amusing. She's one of the best in Kent. She is.
She hasn't even given herself like a fancy name, like Psychic Sue kind of vibe. She's like Diane in Chatham.
Diane in Chatham.
And what did she have to say for herself? Was it, hang on, is it cards or does she just look at a spoon of your face? Like what goes on?
Well, there were cards.
Playing cards. It was actually bridge.
Well, here's the thing. I was a bit worried because like normally they shuffle the deck. I think you can still call it that when it's tarot. And then they get you to say stop. But obviously on Zoom, I don't know if there was a delay.
Oh, and that could affect your
I
entire...
might have someone else's fate. Do you know what I mean?
No, because it's bollocks, but please continue.
But what I will say, it was very good and I heard everything that I wanted to hear actually yesterday.
Funny that.
Yeah, no, I don't normally. Diane once told me I was going out with a narcissist and to leave. And do you know what I did? I stayed. Did it end badly eventually? Yeah, it did. But about a year after, she asked me to do that. So I heard everything I wanted to hear, although she did leave like quite a few gaps. You know, I don't like silence. We've spoken about this before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I did give her a lot of clues. And normally I try not to give any clues. And I know you're being cynical.
That's not the word you wanted to call me. And I'm really glad you chose a more diplomatic one.
They both begin with C. No, never would I. But I don't know. I feel like it's nice for adults to believe in something.
Right.
Do you not think?
Oh, yeah, but I think that should be like, science or mankind, not Diane from Kent's going to turn over the death card and that means I can buy an extra pair of chocolate-covered raisins this week or whatever it is that goes on. I have literally no idea.
Well, Diane is going more into sort of like the wellness side of stuff.
She found some money there, has she?
Your attitude stinks, Louise. It's going more into the wellness, and I did learn a lot. I'm now on the route to the law of attraction.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It means I won't put up with this shit. It means I won't put up with this negativity. It means that one positive thought is way more power. No, that's wrong. One negative thought is a lot more powerful.
I don't think it's really got through yet, has it?
Basically, you got to think positively.
Right, and you needed Diane from Chatham to tell you that by some cards.
I am quite negative. I think I can be really positive for other people. For myself, I'm quite negative.
Right.
So from this point on, I'm positive for me. I'm a superstar. She also taught me affirmations. I'm sorry.
Wow, she really does cover a lot, Diane, doesn't she?
She covered everything bar my future.
So she covered, I don't know, some may say stuff you told her and she could just play off. No, we wouldn't say that, would we?
How are you getting on, Louise?
I'm fine. I recently purchased, you're going to tease me for this, a wax seal kit for letters. And I'm buzzing about it.
You are literally from the past.
I know. I was doing it and I felt like I was Dickens.
Who are you doing it to?
For all my correspondence.
You know they'd prefer emails.
No, they wouldn't. Me and my friends, or my friends and I, if I'm going to be ye olde and speak grammatically correctly,
God.
we went to this event called Letters Live years ago. We're big fans, and it's trying to bring back the art of letter writing. So we do talk on WhatsApp every day, but we save some things just for letters, and we put them in really fancy letters to each other. Some of them are just like, "You're a knobhead, limited regards." But like, I've now got a wax seal.
You waste a postage stamp on that, do you?
Yep, it's worth it. Anything for a jerk fee. But like, I've now got the wax seal, and mine, I've got a L as my little stamp. I was contemplating an A because it should be your surname, but I was like, do you know what? That's a bit pompous. I might be ye olde, but I'll still be Lou. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, so you're
I'm one of the
LOU.
people. Yeah, though it's just a big L. But my dream is one day I'll have one that has like my own personal crest on it, and it'll have some sort of emblem in the middle. I don't know what it is, but do you know some of them have like Latin round the outside? I'd have that, but it would be like, how do knobhead, and you just immediately know it was from me. That's my dream.
Yeah. How do you get yourself a crest?
You got to have them made. It's like a little stamp because you pour the wax on and then you stamp it.
But
Did I put a wax seal on my Galentine's Day letters?
You did actually, and I very much appreciate it.
See, you thought you were going to Hogwarts.
No, I did appreciate that actually.
Yeah, so when I sent it on my Galentine's Day correspondence, 13th of February, for anybody interested. Also, just to FYI, 12th of February is, you can either call it Malentine's Day or Guylentine's Day, and it's for guys to spend time with their lads' friends and just have really nice male friendship days. Would you like to know the final story we're doing for this season?
Oh, yes, please.
Very, very classic. I think you're going to really like this one.
Okay.
It's called The Frog King or Iron Henry, and it's Brothers Grimm.
I just never understand the massive difference in the titles.
Most of this you're going to like because this is one of the most classic fairy tales of all time.
Okay.
But the end is very similar to what we've seen in other ones, which is where the fuck has that come from? So that bit, yeah, you've already rolled your eyes. So I think that'll piss you off.
Okay.
But the rest is very, very classic. So this was the first ever one Brothers Grimm wrote. And, well, I say Brothers Grimm. It was actually, as so many of the Brothers Grimm stories were, was actually Dorothea Wilde, who eventually married Wilhelm Grimm and became his wife. She's actually the one responsible for this and so many of the other stories.
Right.
Which, to be fair, Brothers Grimm do credit her for. And she's very, very interesting. And she lived next door to the Grimm family with her family for some years.
Or she married one of them.
Well, yeah, but she wasn't allowed to marry Wilhelm because her dad was an absolute tyrant, really horrible. He made her stay and look after him and his sickly wife while the rest of her sisters went off to live elsewhere. But she was friends with the Grimm family who weren't very rich. So he really frowned that. He's like, you can't be friends with those people. So she had to keep meeting up with Wilhelm in secret to give all these stories over. And then even when he died, they still couldn't get married because the Brothers Grimm were still so poor. But it was from the publication of all these stories that they made money. And her, Wilhelm, and Jakob, the brother, all lived together, the three of them, which you can either see as very modern or weird. Depends on your standpoint.
Well, because I'm positive thinking, I'm going to see it as very modern.
Basically, the very classic of a frog being turned into a prince.
Love it.
So yeah, very, very classic. But there's so many different versions of this story, and it has been going for centuries. Some people have debated that there's actually a version of it in Roman times that was maybe told, but I think one of the eldest ones I found was a Scottish one called Padder or Paddow or something like that. But in that one, there was no kissing. It was much more gruesome, which I won't talk about because we'll read this story and then we can compare equally. Okay, here we go. The Frog King or Iron Henry. Brothers Grimm, off we go. In old times, when wishing still helped one, there lived a king whose daughters were all beautiful, but the youngest was so beautiful that the sun itself, which has seen so much, was astonished whenever it shone in her face.
Ooh,
Right?
what a compliment.
What a compliment. I mean, some of us can't have the sunshine in our face because we're very translucently pale and have rosacea, but sure, Good for her. Close by the king's castle lay a great dark forest, and under an old lime tree in the forest was a well. And when the day was very warm, the king's child went out into the forest and sat down by the side of the cool fountain. And when she was bored, she took a golden ball and threw it up on high and caught it. This ball was her favourite plaything.
Okay, I feel like that's going to be important.
The ball.
Yeah. That's what my brain does. It goes, not important, not important, not important, important. And I did that on the golden ball. But now I know.
Isn't it fascinating that if you look at other podcasts that do fairy tales, they're about 10 minutes long. And the reason ours is so long is because we've got to tell them about 7 different times.
I think we need that series break, don't we? I think it's come just at the right time.
Golden ball. She's sat under it. She's throwing and catching. She's having, some would say, a ball. Now, it so happened that on one occasion, the princess's golden ball did not fall into the little hand which she was holding up for it, but onto the ground beyond and rolled straight into the water.
Important.
Noted! The king's daughter followed it with her eyes, but it vanished, and the well was so deep that the bottom could not be seen. At this she began to cry, and cried louder and louder, and could not be comforted.
Because she lost her ball.
Because she lost the ball down the well. She's absolutely devastated.
Okay. Well, it was a golden ball.
It was a golden ball, which I imagine is quite hefty, actually. Is it pure gold or just gold on the outside?
No, I don't think you'd throw a pure golden ball up in the air and wait to catch it. Someone got a Nerf gun recently, and that's painful enough. I'm not hanging around for a golden ball.
Who got a Nerf gun?
Matthew. Well, he bought a Nerf gun for his nephew, and then
But it was really for him.
and then took it back to our house flat.
So now you're just being hit with a Nerf gun.
Yeah. So I wouldn't do it with a golden ball. I wouldn't be smashing a golden ball into my face.
Right. So she's lost her ball. She can't be comforted.
Yeah.
Devastated. And as she thus lamented, someone said to her, oh, right, I need to spoiler this. So this is going to be the frog. And I need a voice for the frog. I was thinking maybe like Kermit.
Yeah, I see how your mind would have logically gone there.
Because he is, in fact, a frog.
Yeah, do it.
Hello there, princess. It's me, the frog.
This music's my ears.
So I was thinking that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But then I also, just shortly after, the princess speaks, so I need a voice for her.
Miss Piggy, surely.
I can do a half-decent Yoda, and the person who does the voice for Yoda is also the one who does the one for Miss Piggy. So in theory, I should be able to do that.
Yeah, give it a bash.
Podcast we are doing, yes?
So it'd be like that, but a bit more femme.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And as she thus lamented, someone said to her,
What ails you, king's daughter? Your tears would melt a heart of stone.
She looked round to the side from where the voice came and saw a frog stretching forth its thick, ugly head from the water. Right? Okay, so now this is the princess.
Yeah.
We're going to try this and we're going to see how it goes.
Old water splasher, it is you?
Said she.
I am weeping for my golden ball, which has fallen into the well.
Yes?
Maybe slightly more femme.
Oh!
She's a bit gravelly.
She is, but she's been on holiday.
Who am I to comment?
Be quiet and do not weep,
Answered the frog.
I can help you. But what will you give me if I bring your plaything up again?
So he's saying, I can
He's
help.
haggling.
He's haggling. It's like, I can get you this, but what are you doing for me, babe? I now need to try and make it more femme, and I don't know how to do that. Let's have a look.
Whatever you will have, dear frog.
Little bit.
Yeah, because it's more in the mouth. Geezer's more like in the chest.
I'm sorry, I did a geezer Miss Piggy.
Whatever you will have, dear frog,
Said she.
my clothes, my pearls, jewels, even the golden crown which I am wearing.
The frog answered,
I do not care for your clothes, pearls, jewels, or your golden crown. But if you will love me and let me be your companion and playmate and sit by you at your little table and eat off your little golden plate and drink out of your little cup and sleep in your little bed, if you will promise me this, I will go down below and bring your golden ball up again.
I don't know if it is cute or if it's just the way you're doing it, but he seems like an absolute sweetheart.
but he's saying, like, yeah, I don't want all of your stuff, but if you just let me be your companion and playmate and sit with you and eat off your plate and drink out of your cup and sleep in your bed, I'll get your ball up for you.
Yeah, and then it's up to her to decide how much she wants that
But
ball.
I don't think that's very equal. She's like, can I get my ball back? And he's like, only if I can eat with you, drink with you, sleep in the same bed with you, and spend all my time with you. She just wants her ball back.
Oh, he's asking for too much.
Do you not think if you lost something and someone said to you, yeah, as long as you let me come home with you, sleep in your bed, eat with you, and spend all my time with you, you can have your $5 that you drop.
Oh, yeah, I'd probably say keep it. Yeah.
I'm just going to put it out there.
Why is everything little? He's like,
Well,
Your little bed and your little chair and your little cup.
it's a good point, and maybe it's because he is in fact little, but then everything would be big to him.
Yeah. And I think that's what confused me by thinking he wasn't asking for a lot
Mm-hmm.
because he said everything was little.
Yeah, maybe that was his plan. Maybe he's using
Made
words to
everything
deceptive.
seem like, oh, it's not that big a deal. It's very little.
Yeah. So he said, if you do all of that, I'll go down and I'll bring your golden ball up again.
Yes,
Said she.
I promise you all you wish if you will but bring me my ball back.
She, however, thought,
Ugh, silly frog. Does talk. He lives in the water with the other frogs and croaks and could be no companion to a human being.
so she's like, I'll promise him this, but this guy's a frog. It don't matter. Like, he ain't going to be living with a human. None of this is going to be real. I can promise him whatever I want because I don't have to keep my promises because he's a frog.
But he is a talking frog and they're not that common.
To be fair, in fairy tale land, talking animals are quite common. She could probably just go down the road. The old lime tree would probably start waffling on if she talked to that. You know how it works.
Okay, I just feel like a talking frog is quite a good companion.
Is that what you'd want? You wouldn't want like I'd want like a bird, I think.
I don't know. I had a horrible incident with my dog the other day.
Did it bring a frog from a well?
No, he's jealous of Matthew, so he wouldn't. When I went round my mum's and Matthew came, he wouldn't sit near me, and I really felt it.
How do you know it's Matthew?
Well, because then my mum texts me. She put the the salt in the wounds. She texted me and went, "Oh, he really perked up after you left. He was wagging his tail, he was playing with everyone." So so I'm going there on the way back actually to try and make amends.
With the dog?
Yeah, because I'd have a dog as a companion, a talking dog. 'Cause then he can let me know if it is jealousy.
What are you going to do if it is?
Get rid of Matthew.
Here's your nerf gun, fuck off. Yeah. But the frog, when he had received this promise, put his head into the water and sank down, and in a short while came swimming up again with the ball in his mouth and threw it on the grass. So he didn't know that she was lying. He thought she was telling the truth with her promise. And he's gone.
She would.
As you would, yeah. The king's daughter was delighted to see her pretty plaything once more, and picked it up and ran away with it.
Wait,
Said the frog.
take me with you. I can't run as you can.
But what did it avail him to scream his croak, croak after her as loudly as he could? She did not listen, but ran home and soon forgot the poor frog, who was forced to go back into his well again. So he spat out the ball. She's like, nailed it, picked it up and started running off. And he's like, wait for me. And she's like, laters.
So, you're into like superstition.
Yeah.
What about karma? Do you believe in karma?
No, not really.
Oh, I do, and that's coming back to
Right.
bite her in the arse. It is, isn't it?
That you picking that one out as the next
Important.
important. Right. The next day, when she had seated herself at the table with the king and all the courtiers and was eating from her little golden plate, I know someone needs to get her a proper plate, don't they? Unless she's on some sort of horrendous diet. Something came creeping, splish, splash, up the marble staircase. And when it had got to the top, it knocked at the door and cried,
Princess, youngest princess, open the door for me.
She ran to see who was outside, but when she opened the door, there sat the frog in front of it.
Told you he weren't just going to let it go.
No. Then she slammed the door in great haste, sat down to dinner again, and was quite frightened. She was like, how's this frog found me?
Yeah, but yesterday it was just a frog and now she's scared of it.
To be fair, if a talking frog had found me when I had given him no directions or clues as to who I was whatsoever, I'd find that creepy.
I think the crown was a giveaway.
The king saw plainly that her heart was beating violently. Oh, I need a voice for the king.
What about that teddy bear out the Muppets?
Fozzie.
Waka waka.
Well, I don't know, because he was Brothers Grimm. I was going to maybe have another crack at doing a German accent again, but I think it might just come out really camp again.
I think we're doing a Muppets version.
We're doing a Muppets version.
So I'd like a Muppet.
I can do Beaker. Meep, meep.
Yeah,
And
let's
then
have him.
for all of his dialogue. Or Rizzo.
Like the lamp, not the rat. Like the lamp, not the rat.
That one.
Let's try that one. The king saw plainly that her heart was beating violently and said,
My child, what are you so afraid of? Is there perchance a giant outside who wants to carry you away?
Do you get sore throats after this?
sometimes. So his initial thought was
It's got to be a big ass giant.
not a tiny little frog. Oh, it must be one of those giants that roams around and knocks on our door every 5
Do you
minutes.
think you'd be able to tell the difference
Well,
between
you
a frog's knock and a giant's knock, wouldn't you?
First of all, yes, great point. Also, if you were that worried about giants knocking at your door, get some sort of security system or guards instead of just letting it. In fact, why didn't the guards go answer the door in the first place instead of
The
princess?
Well, he did ask specifically for the little tiny princess, didn't he?
Yeah, but you could go to Buckingham Palace and say, "Hey, can Charlie come out?" They're not going to fucking say yes, are they? Is there perchance a giant outside who wants to carry you away?
No,
She replied.
it is no giant, but a disgusting frog. Oh, dear father, yesterday I was in the forest, sitting by the well, playing. My golden ball fell in the water, and because I cried, the frog brought it out again for me, and because he so insisted, I promised him he should be my companion, but I never thought he would be able to come out of his water, and now he's outside there and wants to come to me. Huh?
A glass of water.
Maybe. Fucking hell. I think this is the most dialogue the Grimms have ever fucking written.
Yeah, and I went full Muppets on.
Right. Oh, and there's another bit here. Hang on. In the meantime, the frog knocked a second time and cried,
Princess, youngest princess, open the door for me. Do you not know what you said to me yesterday by the cool waters of the fountain? Princess, youngest princess, open the door for me.
So he's still trying. He's a persistent little amphibian.
This frog would be happy at any point. It just always sounds a bit sad.
To be fair, he has, so far, he's gone,
sounds-
no
sounds
one's letting
sad.
me in and no one's letting me play with them. So I kind of get why he'd be sad. If he was happy that he was being left outside alone,
Left outside alone.
I'd understand. So he's still asking to be let in. Then the king said,
That which you have promised you must perform. Go and let him in.
She went and opened the door, and the frog hopped in and followed her, step by step to her chair. There he sat and cried.
Lift me up beside you.
She delayed until at last the king commanded her to do it. When the frog was once on the chair, he wanted to be on the table, and when he was on the table, he said,
Now, push your little golden plate nearer to me, that we may eat together.
Oh, he's a bit needy, isn't he?
"Give
Who
me
knows?
my space. I don't want any of this. Oh, let's share this together. No, I got my meal, and I'm sorry you've chosen badly, but you can't have mine. That's not how this works."
You are Matthew in female form.
But that's it. It's like we would both have the same menu. You could have had the same thing as me. You didn't decide it, so you've made your choice. Enjoy. I've made my choice. Mega soz, it's better than yours. That isn't my fault.
Just not even that bit, just that give me my space.
Also, give me my space.
Oh,
Anyway, so he's asking for the little golden plate to be put near to him so that they can eat together.
yeah.
Right? She did this, but it was easy to see that she did not do it willingly. The frog enjoyed what he ate, but almost every mouthful she took choked her. At length, he said,
I have eaten, and I'm satisfied. Now, I am tired. Carry me to your room and make your little silken bed ready, and we will both lie down and go to sleep.
Oh, but it's all slimy.
it's creepy, isn't it?
Why is she choking on the food?
I think it's because she's just so, disgusted by
Right.
him. The king's daughter began to cry, for she was afraid of the cold frog, which she did not like to touch, and which was now to sleep in her pretty clean bed. But the king grew angry and said,
He who helped you when you were in trouble ought not to be despised by you afterwards.
He does understand it was just the ball, doesn't he?
"Yeah, but nobody likes women." In this story, because he's gone, "You made a promise. and you have to keep it. And she's like, this creepy frog keeps asking me to eat with him, and now he wants to come to my bedroom and sleep in my bed, the creepy little frog. And he's like,
That's your problem, sweetheart.
so she took hold of the frog with 2 fingers, carried him upstairs and put him in a corner. But when she was in bed, he crept to her and said,
I'm tired. I want to sleep as well as you. Lift me up, or I'll tell your father.
Oh, little bastard.
mm-hmm. So she's tried to be like, okay, you're in my room, but you're right over there. And he's hopped his way over and been like, no, you need to put me in bed with you.
Yeah, I've gone off him.
Then she was terribly angry, took him up and threw him with all her might against the wall.
Now, you'll be quiet, odious frog,
said she. So she just lost it. She was like, fuck this. I'm not being bullied no more. And has slammed him into the wall,
Yeah,
which is very Miss Piggy, to be fair.
Yeah, everyone's got a breaking point. I'm not sure about slamming him into the wall.
I would have done that by the time he got to the front door. I wouldn't be here by now. I wouldn't be. If he'd have eaten off my plate, I would have slammed him into a wall.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But when he fell down, he was no longer a frog, but a king's son with beautiful, kind eyes.
Is this the ending?
No, we've got a bit left.
Because I've seen it before where they've turned into like a bloke. But their whole personality, like his whole personality, suddenly he's kind and a really nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bit of a pest.
So originally, this is where, over time, that changed into she kissed the frog. It wasn't she threw him against the wall anymore. It's changed over time. So that bit is the bit where the frog usually gets kissed and becomes a charming prince.
Oh.
But like, so this one was he got thrown into the wall. And the one I mentioned at the start, that was like, it was really gruesome. In the Scottish one, it was the frog's head got taken off.
Oh, how did I know that?
I don't, well, you know, your Scottish ancestry probably just came through in your
Yeah.
genetics. So he's now a beautiful man with kind eyes.
Still got a shit personality, or are we not sure?
We're not sure yet, TBC. It came to pass that, with her father's consent, he became her dear companion and husband. That was quick. She got over all the other shit pretty quickly, didn't she?
No questions.
No questions. He
Like,
told
where
her...
have your little amphibian legs gone?
Do you think if you'd been a frog for that long...
You have long legs.
No, I was going to say you'd have the muscles from doing all them squats as a frog.
Big thighs.
Yeah, big thighs. Right, so they've got married. He told her how he had been bewitched by a wicked witch and how no one could have delivered him from the well but herself, and that tomorrow they would go together into his kingdom. Had a curse put on him by a witch. That meant he had to be a frog that lived in that well. And he was like, oh, very woe is me. I had to do that. You were the only one that could break it. You don't know what I've been through.
Do you think this is where the concept of the one comes from?
What, and that we all have one person?
Yeah.
From fairy tales?
Yeah, them
Maybe.
going, it's had to be you, that the kiss from anyone else wasn't going to do it.
Because, like, when all these were, like, originally created and written, we only lived until we were about 17 anyway. So the fact that you'd have one person...
Yeah.
And the fact that we all now live to be, like, 1008, although the world's going to implode soon, so it might be less. But...
Oh, please. I don't know how to put a negative positive on that.
So they've gone back to his kingdom. Then they went to sleep. And the next morning, when the sun awoke them, a carriage came driving up with 8 white horses, which had white ostrich feathers on their heads and were harnessed with golden chains. And behind stood the young king's servant, Faithful Henry. Remember, the other name for this story was Iron Henry.
This is the first time we've heard about him.
Mm-hmm. Faithful Henry had been so unhappy when his master was changed into a frog that he had caused 3 iron bands to be laid round his heart, lest it should burst with grief and sadness. So when his boss basically got turned into a frog, he was so heartbroken about it, he had to have 3 iron bands placed round his heart so his heart didn't break into a million pieces.
Yeah. Have you ever had a boss you felt like that about?
No, absolutely not. I've had some nice ones. I've had a lot of bad ones.
We haven't got time for that.
No, that is a different series entirely. The carriage was to conduct the young king into his kingdom. Faithful Henry helped both of them in and placed himself behind again and was full of joy because of this deliverance. And when they had driven a part of the way, the king's son heard a cracking behind him as if something had broken. So he turned round and cried,
Henry, the carriage, it's breaking.
I need a voice for Henry. Sod it. He can be from Yorkshire. Let's just not...
Hey, why is he not a Muppet?
They have Yorkshire Muppets.
I'll make him a Yorkshire Muppet.
No, No, master, it is not the carriage. It was a band from my art, which was put there in my great pain when you were a frog and imprisoned in the well.
So now that he's feeling better and his heart is mending,
Doesn't need the band.
the bands are starting to break from his heart because he's loved again because his boss is okay. Again and once again, while they were on their way, something cracked, and each time the king's son thought the carriage was breaking, but it was only the bands which were springing from the heart of faithful Henry, because his master had been set free and was happy. And that is the end of the story.
I just think the moral always comes from absolutely fucking nowhere.
I will. So obviously, it's a very classic story, and as I mentioned, this is the very classic tale of you kiss the frog and it becomes a prince. But it was different. This one, it got thrown against
So
the
he
wall,
smashed him against the wall.
which I'm more for, to be honest with you. And the one before was a bit beheading, but and there's so many versions of these. China, it was called. Hang on, where is it? The frog who would become emperor. In Korea, it was the turd bridegroom. Like, there's loads of different versions of this story, but it's a very common one. But there is most of the time this weird servant bit at the end, because the reason Brothers Grimm that's why Brothers Grimm originally called it Iron Henry, because they thought he was actually the most prevailing character of, oh, look how loving he is.
It comes in the last sentence.
Which is, I think, what so much of the feedback must have been when they first published it, that in the rewrites they went, we're going to have to call this the Frog King because nobody else cares about Henry as much as we do.
I just think, didn't they do that? What was the last one we had of theirs? Didn't they do this in the last
Clever
one?
Elsie.
Didn't they bring some randomer in right at the end?
It's almost like they're trying to do a plot twist at the end.
With a plot twist, there has to be some clues. You know, I'm good at picking up on clues.
You are good at picking up on
There were
clues.
no clues to this servant guy. And then it just confuses the whole thing.
Yeah, I will grant you, it's random that he's just popped up, considering how much he cares about
But also,
his boss.
But also there's no backstory. There's no we don't understand why he cares so much. Like, how was that relationship forged?
Yeah. To be honest, really, I would have quite liked this as a gay tale of the two of them finding their love for one another and overcoming societal class norms.
I think that's a whole different fairy
I'm gonna write that. I'd like that.
I'm not sure that is a version of this fairy tale.
It's going to be, because I'm going to write it. And then I'm going to say this is a version of Iron Henry.
Well, that's what they seem to do. They just seem to go, this is a version of that. And you go, it fucking isn't, mate. You've added some geezer at the end.
Iron Henry, great drag name as well, I reckon. I'm going to put him in drag. He can have the ostrich feathers.
Oh, beautiful.
That's what I'm going to go for. What do you think the moral is? There's quite a few in this.
Well, again, it's like, don't judge a book by its cover, isn't it? Because he wasn't a frog, he was a prince. Probably don't smash people against walls.
No, I don't adhere to that as a
That's
moral.
a big one. Just be kind.
Aww. So one is, if you make a promise, you have to honour it. And if you honour it, you will be rewarded. Yeah, which I'm not keen on. The other one is persistence. That frog did not let it drop. And
I just forgot about that.
He cracked on, because in some of the versions of the story as well, it's he slept in the princess's room for 3 days, even though he'd be chucked out. In other ones, he kept coming back to the palace for 3 days. There's lots of ones where it's just his persistence, and it's like persistence prevails, so you must be persistent. That's one of the morals.
When does persistence cross over to stalker-like tendencies?
Well, quite, yes. And the other one was apparently because the Grimm brothers were quite big on sort of Christian values of the time. It's you should show obedience to your parents and keep your promises as well. So the princess was always obedient to her father when he went, you have to do this or you have to do the other, which I also think is a big load of bollocks, because her father didn't know shit, did he? He was like, yeah, let that creepy thing live in your
Yeah, he didn't.
room.
Again, he didn't ask for much of a backstory, did he?
No.
Yeah, I'm not, it's a nice tale, but I'm not sure about any of the morals in that one.
It's a nice little ditty that survived time, but I'm not a big fan.
Don't take any advice from that story.
Well, it's the last one in the series.
Oh, so
That was so sarcastic. Fuck you.
That was he going, Oh, how do you end a series? How do you end a series?
What song were you attempting?
I made it up.
I thought it was going to be like, how do you solve a problem like
yeah, it was.
Maria?
and
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the rest of the song went.
Well, you didn't get the song right. You just made up your own lyrics and your own tune.
Okay, is this how a series is? I don't think so. It's been an absolute pleasure.
I'm sure it has. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. And follow us on TikTok and Instagram at BeFairyAfraidPod. Thanks for listening.